Please join me as we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Colorado has more mountain peaks exceeding 14,000 feet than any other state. These peaks are known as 14ers, and the people who climb them return with stories about overcoming and adapting. The endeavor is substantial, but the view from the top is always worth the effort. To reach the top of a 14er, it takes persistence, determination, planning, and commitment. In Adams 14, we too strive to reach the highest goals, to ascend to the top, to be at the pinnacle of teaching and learning. Our story is long and filled with successes, triumphs, and accomplishments. We are a 14er, and this is our story.
Good morning. I want to welcome you to the first annual State of the Schools. My name is Itlali Vargas. I am a student at Camp Elementary School. Today is going to be really fun. Buenos días. Quiero darle la bienvenida a la primera presentación anual de los estados del estado de las escuelas. Mi nombre es Itlali Vargas. Soy estudiante de la escuela primaria Kemp. El día de hoy va a ser muy divertido. Today, I am practicing my English and Spanish here, rather than in the classroom. What I love about Adams 14 is the science class. Estoy practicando mi inglés y mi español aquí, en el lugar del salón de clases. Lo que más me gusta de Adams 14 es la clase de ciencias. Ahora les presento a la presidenta de la Junta Directiva, la señora Renny Lovato. I would like to introduce Miss Renny Lovato to present of the board.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Kearney Middle School, for the music, and Citlali for the amazing introduction. Thank you so much. I have the honor of serving as president of the Adams 14 School Board. I'm often asked, what is the 14, right? Is there significance behind it? In numerology, the study behind numbers, 14 represents a new beginning, a positive change, and even potential for growth. In sports, there are 14 teams that qualify for the NFL playoffs, and in golf, you can only carry 14 clubs. Here in Colorado, we often associate 14 with the highest, most majestic, and peaceful of our mountains. While it might boil down to a number assigned to the 14th district to organize in 1902, to Adams 14, the number 14 means so much more. We are on a journey to be the best. We have started the journey by making sure the base is strong and capable. For us, that means a unified board with a clear vision for ensuring our students receive high-quality services and high-quality instruction. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank our Adams 14 Board of Education, Vice President Janet Estrada, Secretary Maria Zubia, Treasurer James Amador, and Director Lucy Molina. I don't know that she's here today. Oh, she's not here. Okay. Thank you all. It's an honor serving with you. We've spent countless hours engaging in professional development, meeting with our community, and ensuring our work supports lasting and positive change here in Adams 14. We've adopted the policy governance model to ensure we have a board that functions as a unit rather than as individual members. This model of governance creates transparency between the district and our community, allowing our superintendents and her staff to create real change in support of the goals that we set. You'll hear more about the policy governance model throughout this event today. It is now my honor to introduce our superintendent, Dr. Khaled Lavia.
Yes. Buenos días. Good morning. I am so excited about today. And before I begin, I would like to ask Citlali to come up here. Citlali, where are you? Come over. I know you're here. Citlali is one of our phenomenal bilingual students, one of almost 6,000 students that we have. And you just saw and experienced what bilingualism looks like. Able to go from one language to another. You know, some people think that's a deficit. We in Adams 14 know and believe that is an asset. Citlali is one of our many linguistically gifted students, and we are committed to ensuring that they understand they are talented and they are phenomenal. Thank you, Ms. Citlali. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go back to your seat. Thank you. Bye. Thank you, Madam President. Welcome everybody once again to the first State of the Schools. It's actually interesting because this morning I'm getting ready and I am so nervous. I even came here and said and asked, you know, my accountability partner, is my lipstick looking straight? Because I was shaking. And I started thinking, why? Why am I so nervous? I speak in front of crowds. You know, I always get a little nervous, but nothing like today. I almost felt it was my wedding day. Or even my daughter's wedding day a few years ago. Is it because I'm wearing white? And then it hit me. Because today marks the beginning of a new day, a new era for Adams 14. For decades, our narrative has been in the hands of other people outside of Adams 14. For decades, people tell what they want to tell about us. For decades, people outside have selected data to say, this is what is happening at Adams 14. And we, in Adams 14, knew that was not the whole story. And today marks the first day, official day, that we can say, moving forward, starting today, we own our narrative for our students. So I do not want to dwell a whole lot in the past, but it's important for us to understand a little bit of a framework. What got us here? Where are we today? So let's listen.
Seeing a level of nuance in attending to students who have not been served by Adams 14 in the past, there is a renewed desire to change the student experience, which comes through in the headlines of each initiative that we've launched. When we started this journey together as a team, we determined right from the start that we're going to do work in Adams 14 that is truly grounded in the reality of the past. We did a hard analysis, looking at data, particularly at how that data showed inequities and equities throughout the system. We looked at who the system did and did not serve based on that data. We had hard conversations about the whys behind the data and inequities. Why is it that certain students with certain identities have not had the same opportunities as others? We have lived a hard reality, but that is a past reality of Adams 14. And that is a reality we are changing as we move forward in this work. The fact that students with particular identities have had a different experience than others is why we must continue forward. Equity is at the center of the work, and it continues to be a thread throughout everything we do. We may be on different parts of a learning journey, but we are all focused on the summit. The reality is, identity, race, ethnicity, economics, gender, language, experiences, culture, ability, and even community has made an impact on our students' lives. Aspects of their identities, defined by our educational system, have predicted their outcomes. If we're ignoring aspects of students' identities that have been overlooked, then we're not giving ourselves a chance to shift the experiences for all students. Whether we like it or not, we are in a place where people are treated differently or experience things differently based on aspects of their identities. The work will be challenging and at times uncomfortable. Just like the climber ascending a 14er, the view from the top is worth the effort and time.
So that's the reality. Adams 14's reality. In many other communities that look just like us, with cultures just like ours, with experiences similar to ours. That is our reality. The identity of our community. And when I talk about identity, please know this is not about race alone. This is not about gender alone, or preferences, or experiences, or economics individually. It's the group of experiences that determine and marks our identity. And our identity has impacted our district. Because our identity, based on a larger system, has been one that the very same system says, we know their outcomes. Our identity has predicted our outcomes. But we are here to change it, and to change it for good for our students. So this is how we see it. We heard Madam President talk about the 14. You know, those of you who have been in Colorado know 14ers, 58 peaks that are over 14,000 feet. Guess what? We're going to be number 59, Mount Adams 14er. And we know to reach the summit of a 14er, we need to work strategically. Just showing hands, how many of you have gone up to a 14er, had walked up there? So you know exactly what I'm talking about. You just don't wake up one day and say, I'm going to go up and walk. You plan for it, you get ready, you sometimes even train. Maybe you have your oxygen little thing in the back. So we have to work strategically. And for the past year, we have organized ourselves to do just that. Starting with the Board of Education, but also cabinet, schools, community, friends, CDE working with us. So I want to acknowledge my staff here, and I want you to stand up for a second. I know I'm between you and your plate, but bear with me. I want my staff to get up, to be acknowledged by the community, because I cannot ask you to work any harder, but we are working smarter. So please, staff. And I know I cannot ask them to work any harder. Back there, I know we have some shy ones, I know. But I know I cannot ask them to work any harder because it's hours and hours, but we are working smarter. And thank you for the staff of the hotel as well for making this event what it is right now. So let me dig a little bit into, what does it mean? When you say, Dr. Loria, you're working strategically, what does that mean? So reaching the summit begins really with having a solid foundation. And for us, that is a financial, the financial foundation that is actually sustainable and predictable. So we're also working on understanding our identity, our culture. It is critical to connect with our community, to understand their identity, to understand what they value, and to let our community know that we truly want to engage with them because their opinion, their input, their support, their ideas are important for us. You know, as a superintendent, been in turnaround work since the early 2000s as an administrator at different levels in schools and central office. One of the things that I know true in turnaround or in transformation, you know, when you go and flip a house, you pull the wall, and then you're like, oh, yeah, how about this, right? And then you need to start changing wires and everything that you didn't even think about. So what I understand about transformation is it needs to start with the structures that we put in place. My dad always told me, do not tell me what you're doing, Carla, which I miss him greatly. He told me, tell me what you put together is, or how it is, what is still standing after 3 years of you being gone. So my purpose has been to work with the community because whatever structure, if it's grassrooted, if it's coming from the community, it will be a lasting structure. So to be transformational, we also have to be innovative. We can't keep doing the same things the way that we have been doing it. They have not been working. And let me be clear here, it's not about our students. It's never about the students. You met some of them. You heard the orchestra. You saw Citlali. Never about the students. It's about the adults. We are where we are because of the hard work of adults. Not in the right direction necessarily, but nonetheless, the adults. So we have to do things differently. We need to re-image how we are serving our students, and that was one of the first charges from my Board of Education once we had the authority. They charged me with reimagining how we serve students. So for us, this thing about reimagining, about reaching the peak, we know one thing: our students must achieve higher. We can do better. We must be accountable of our students' success. And I'm not saying we must hold students accountable. We must hold us, the adults, accountable of their success. Some people think that we do not like in Adams 14 accountability. They said, they want to get rid of the accountability system. To the contrary, the fact that you're here today, the fact that I am here in front of you today, that my board president and the board got up here to tell you how they're working and organizing, reimagining how Adams 14 Board of Education's work in the future, is testament that we want and need to be held accountable. This is going to be the first of annual events, and it's going to be an opportunity for you, the community, supporters, students, staff, to hold the superintendent accountable, because I better be telling what I'm going to do or I'm doing when I'm up here, because you are going to be able to say, no, you're not doing that. So this is a way for us to be held accountable. We appreciate accountability. So where do we start? Like every climber attempting to reach the summit of the 14, we start at the base camp. Board of Education, you heard a little bit of that. The Board of Education recently adopted the policy governance model. Within that policy, which is really community-based model, you heard about Madam President and saw the diagram. They set goals, which we under policy governance called ends. It means when they see the district ending, the peak of where we need to go. And with these ends, they also draw boundaries. They tell me, this is where you can go, right? Don't go crazy out there. This is where you can go, called executive limitations. And with that, they set the vision in a clear direction of where we need to go. And through these ends, they communicate how we're going to get there, the staff, but also how we're going to monitor it. So this is a true way, and one of the best ways that have been out there and practiced in all kinds of boards of education and all kinds of boards, to really provide strategic leadership and vision for the organization. So Board of Education, thank you. Thank you for taking that bold step. This is the first board that I can see that is truly focused on what is the best action to take for our students. And this is evidence of that. So thank you, Board of Education. So what are these ends? The ends, usually called goals before. The ends, number one, is around student achievement. Every student in Adams 14 will have access to skills and opportunities that will prepare them for whatever their future brings them. Right now, we don't even know what the future looks like. When I was a kid, I didn't even know. I saw the Jetstones. Is anybody around my age? We saw the Jetstones, and we saw the phone showing the picture. We're like, wow. Okay, guess where we are now. Had no idea we were going to get there. So I'm guessing it's going to be the same for our students. Who knows where we're going to be in 10, 15 years? Who knows where the problems are going to be? So student achievement, we know that we need to prepare them for what it brings. And how do we do that? Doing the same thing the same old way? I don't think it's going to work this time. So we have the second end, which is academics and innovation. With this end, the board is charging me as their only employee, and then I charge my team with developing and implementing strategies that are really innovative and that will really provide rapid and significant improvement, not only at the classroom level, but also at the school level, at the district level, and at the state level, because we know where we have been with the state. So we need to make changes as well so that we start going in the right direction, even with the state. The third end, we also call it E3, focusing on community and the culture. The district will establish, is the charge of the board, and cultivate partnerships, many of you here, to fully and genuinely engage all members of the community to create a culture that values respect, that values trust, and high expectations for our students. And finally, to ensure sustainability, we all know, even experience at home, that to get some things done, we need to make sure that we have the funds and we can sustain whatever we want to have. So the financial well-being, the charge is that we will be responsible and manage responsibly our resources. We will attain and use our resources to support our students, to support the innovation plans, to support our teachers, meeting not only the current needs, but also forecasting what are going to be the needs of our students, being strategic, looking into the future. It can no longer be the decision for this month is, but a long-term vision, so that we know that every single action and decision that we make is going to be in support of the next one that we need to take. And that includes also facilities, safe facilities for our students. So these four ends guided us to collaborate with the community to develop a strategic plan. We had a partner, TNTP, who is present here. TNTP, thank you for being here and supporting us. Yes, please. And with their support, we work with a cadre of approximately 40 individuals. We have sought input from the board, from the community, from the staff. We continue doing that. And they developed a new vision that really speaks to them and really speaks to our community. We surveyed everybody, all of our staff, our teachers, and it really speaks to them. Adams 14 graduates or students graduate empowered, inspired, and equipped to be whomever they choose to be. Not what I think they need to be, not what the state thinks they need to be, not what the society thinks they need to be, but whomever they choose to be. Equipped. Let's think about that. How do we equip our students? So, to be equipped, to be ready, we need to really picture then what is our student going to look like? Our graduates, how do they look? When we say they're equipped, what does that mean? So we went back with a team and started developing the portrait of a graduate. I know it's tiny here, but we do have the portrait of a graduate that was developed collaboratively with community staff, the team. And it's really a roadmap, because if we say, if in 12th grade the student is here and it's gonna be equipped to be career prepared, civic contributor, communicator, creative, collaborator, critical thinking, if by 12th grade they graduate with that, where does a child need to be in 9th grade? What about 7th grade? What about 5th grade? What about kindergarten? So this really becomes a roadmap where every teacher, regardless of the subject area, regardless of the grade level, understands we're preparing today this child to get there by the time they get to 12th grade. So let's see a video of what a child who is prepared, a student in Adams 14, who is prepared and equipped, looks like.
11, 12, 13.
Our students wear the Marine Corps uniform 1 day a week, and the uniform's provided by the program. They do physical fitness 1 day a week.
Come on, guys, 15 seconds.
So when you look at right here, it looks like...
And then the other days they undergo our curriculum, which involves leadership, citizenship, personal growth and development, career exploration. And then in the end, we hope that they develop self-confidence, self-discipline, and respect for authority.
My favorite part about being cadet is, I would have to say either the birthday ball or being a part of drill. I think it's just how we are all in unison. It shows that different people can be as one.
You get to know yourself a little bit more. Like, you learn about leadership, and I think that's a really big role, especially once you're like going into the real life.
Adams City High School is one of 2 high schools in the state of Colorado that have Marine Corps Junior ROTC. Our program here is 54 years old. It's one of the oldest in the nation as well.
I look at those pictures of the cadets. It really makes me like want to reach for that same excellence or like even more.
They're just trying to instill discipline and show you how to just be a better person in society instead of being a recruiting office.
We're here every day for the kids. We're committed to this high school, so we don't shy away from all these tough times. We just buckle down, keep doing what we do, and I hope that our leadership knows that they have 2 Marines here they can count on.
One of 2 schools in the state. So as you were able to see, many of our students are prepared. They are prepared for what their futures will bring. We are preparing them. We are equipping them. Are we there with every child? Quite frank, no. We're not. But we know that, and we own it, and we're doing something about it. And no longer we're going to allow, as I said before, others to tell the story that we are not preparing our students, because that group is a testament that we are preparing our students. And we can do better. I get that. So like many other districts in Colorado and the United States, like many other districts, this is our reality. We are losing enrollment. Demographers say kids, I call them kids, but young adults, are not having as many babies as we were when we were kids. So we are facing lower enrollment, like many of the districts around us. We have aging buildings and facilities. We have a high cost to live in Denver. I don't know, if you have noticed that your homes probably are, if you were to buy it now, it would cost 3-4 times more than it used to be in a few years. Cost of living is higher. Schools funding, let me bring you up to a higher rooftop now. In the nation, we're in the lowest quintile of school funding. Colorado is 40 of 51. Some other say actually we are in the bottom 3 states as far as school funding in the nation. Last night, it said we were the number 40 of 51 states or regions in funding. And that's our reality in Colorado. So we need to help our legislators understand why we need to move to a different direction. So that results in our board making tough decisions and redesigning how we serve our students. But many may say, well, that's a problem. But we see this as an opportunity to serve our students differently, an opportunity to provide choice for our students, an opportunity to rethink the best use of our facilities based on the reality, a tough decision. Not long ago, our board made the very tough decision to merge 2 schools, 2 of our smallest schools. Tough decision. We're rethinking how we are supporting our students. We heard the community. Our community values pre-K. In the past, we've always offered just a part-time pre-K, not for everybody. But starting in August of 2023, we're going to be able to offer full-day universal pre-K in every single elementary school in town. The board has charged us so that in 2 years, or no longer than 2 years, all elementary schools will now go from pre-K through 6, because we heard our community and our identity, and our community values keeping our younger a little bit longer at home. If not, tell me when I send my kids to college, what? No way, you stay here. Okay, go. And also, that will leave us in a few years with 2 small middle schools. So we're working with the community to actually merge the 2 schools and have a junior high instead of 2 small junior middle schools. But why are we doing this? To be able to offer choice, to be accountable with our finances, which we're doing great, by the way. Adams 14 has received excellent awards for excellence records, record keeping, for excellent financial accounting management. And that, we need to shout it out because it continues building or rebuilding transparency and trust with our community. But the finance is not enough. You heard me a little bit talk about the second goal, community and culture. So what are we striving for? We're striving for a new level of engagement with our community, engagement of our parents, engagement of the state, engagement of our neighboring districts, engagement of our businesses and partners, students, a new level of engagement with our community. We're striving for high collaboration. What I hear is never, or for many years, we haven't had the high collaboration that I can proudly say we now have with our neighboring districts. And they're here present. I'm going to be calling out their names in a minute. a new level, we're striving for a new level of input and feedback from our staff, our students, and our community. And really to create events that value our identity. Your presence here alone supports those efforts. So thank you for being here. Because this is one of the ways that we're going to be rebuilding the trust, this level of accountability. And I'm a risk taker. I know I am. I can tell you that because I've been, as a professional, in 2 different countries and 5 different states. So I am a risk taker. I say, where's the work? Let's go. Right? So I'm going to take a huge risk right now. And I'm going to name a few of the individuals that come to mind as those that are instrumental in moving our district forward. Superintendents, Chris Fittler. I know you're here because I saw you. Thank you. Superintendent Gadowski, who called me, he cannot be here at the last minute, but his Board of Education, Ms. Lori Goldstein, president of the board, is here. And you see, I'm a risk taker. Now the name went out. Ms. Mitchell, thank you. Superintendent Chiancho, where are you? Thank you for being here, Superintendent Chiancho. And also accompanied by his board, Mr. Mo, and by team members. Thank you for being here. And I will be remiss if I do not call out Lindsay Jacko from CDE. Lindsay. You see, Lindsay Jacko is our new accountability partner from CDE. The last year, I probably had 3 teams coming to me. At one point, I said, they are probably having a little, drawer in there, and whomever gets the shortest straw, that goes with Carla. Seriously, I thought that, and probably that, right? Because I hold everybody accountable. But I can say without a doubt that the work that we're doing with CDE this year, since we were able and finally granted back the authority of the district, has been refreshing. And I call her out so that nobody says, like, oh, that's probably because they're not here. It's because it's true. Last month, for the first time in decades, Adams 14 had a very positive naming and presentation from CDE individuals. Thank you, Lindsay, for acknowledging the work that we're doing. A new way of engaging community. Let's take a look.
Hola, mi nombre es Elizabeth. Aquí estoy en la Escuela Comunitaria Central, en las clases que están repartiendo de Abriendo Puertas, siguiendo preparándonos para apoyar a nuestros hijos, y estoy muy contenta. Invito a todos los padres a que vengan y que sigan estos programas aquí en la Escuela Comunitaria. Gracias.
So we're listening to our parents. We're understanding the identity, their identity, our identity, what they value, and we're responding to prepare them to support our students, their children. So I know Ms. Vasquez is here. Elizabeth, where are you? And you will be probably not surprised, great supporter of our district. Thank you. Her husband is here as well. And you will not surprise, but Citlali is her daughter. So I tell her, yeah, get ready. It's coming. So we work with and for our community. We're hosting events throughout the year. Homecoming parade, ensuring that every parent, every community member can take part of that, our students. Adams Got Talent, we just had it a couple of, last week maybe. Many of you were there. And we were able to see and experience how our students excel in so many other things. It's not only about academics. That's what our community wants us to understand. That's what they want me to understand, and our board to, well, they do understand that, because they charge me with that. And in this spring, remember, we value our identity, 92% of our students are minority. The vast majority, 89, 90% Latino. So any sports out there that you know we Latino love, let's take a look at it.
Va a pegarle Ronaldinho Gaucho. Ya lo hace. Pierna derecha, directo al arco. ¡Golazo! ¡Golazo!
Ready to make history. It's the biggest event of the year. The first Adams 14 Annual World Cup, spring of 2022. Be a part of history. Register today.
Soccer is in our veins. What can I say? What can I say? Don't talk to me about any other sports, though. But I can talk to you about soccer. So we're engaging with them. You still have time, by the way, to sign up. So go to the website and find out that it's coming this spring, and it's going to be fabulous. But it's a way that we are engaging our communities because we know what they value. And we want to create our schools really a community schools exemplar. And we're also investing in our own students. We're investing in our community, like you saw, like I shared, but also in our own staff and students. So we have the SOAR program. The SOAR program, we actually, HR, where's the HR? Thank you, HR, for this great work. Jeff, Dr. McCanna back there, worked out there going to get and revive partnerships that we had lost for one reason or another. And in a matter of a few months, we were able to get a partnership with University of Colorado in Denver. And starting in January, we have a program, a dual enrollment program, where we have 15 of our own students taking college credits to become teachers. We have the Aspire program, designed also to help our classified employees become teachers. And we have a few already. We have our Ascent program. This is an innovative program that we are partnering with TNTP to prepare teachers who want to become leaders in our district. Or at the end of the day, good leaders for students anywhere. I've been in 5 states. The needs are the same. We need good and strong leaders. So we are working on preparing our own teachers to build our bench and support the strategies that we have and ensure that way sustainability. But we also engage with students at a macro level. So it's a different type of engagement. Fabian Olguin, he is a 2022 graduate of Adams City High School. Guess what? He's prepared. He left high school prepared and is now thriving in, at the university. He is a winner. He was granted an Adams 14 Foundation scholarship. There's some envelopes, by the way, at your tables if you want to support that way. Everything goes to scholarships of our students. And doing great, but let me, Nathan, maybe we can connect with him. Can you try to see so that they can hear from him?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Fabian?
Can y'all hear me good?
Yes, can you hear us?
This is Fabian. So happy to be here today. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. Just been really busy with school. I'm an Adams City High School graduate, and being able to receive this scholarship has given me the opportunity to go to the school that I've been wanting to go to I go to Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design, and I'm studying fashion design. And just being able to attend the school has given me a clear understanding of what I want to do with my future. And being able to receive the scholarship has really helped me out with that. But I just want to thank you guys for being here today and giving me a second of your time. Enjoy the rest of the presentation.
Thank you, Fabian. And like Fabian, we have 22 other students who received scholarships this year from the foundation. So you can continue supporting that. And if you have done it in the past, thank you, because it is making a difference. And so you heard me talk a little bit about how we are redesigning all the way from pre-K to middle school, elementary, middle school. So let's talk a little bit about the academies at the high school. This is part of the end goal number 3, academics and innovation. And I'm excited to share with you that we are also going to be able to provide choice at the high school. You see, I've worked in large districts, 5th largest in the nation. I've been there as a chief academic officer. And when I was a region superintendent at that school, I had 127 schools under my supervision. Everything stopped with me, 127. Out of those, a little bit over 40 were high schools. In large districts like that, students have choices. Because I had one high school, was an IB program, another one was STEM, another one was health and sciences, name it. 40 high schools. You can go anywhere. But when we are in smaller districts like ours, with one comprehensive high school, one small alternative, we have to be very creative on how we offer choice. Because just because of the zip code where our students are, just because of a zip code, I'm not going to have a zip code determine whether students have or not have choice. So we embarked with Connect Ed, and we are developing 4 academies at the high school. Architecture, construction, engineering, and design. They're very broad because students who choose to go there are going to be able to learn all the jobs, all the opportunities they have in that area of labor or of work. The second academy, digital information and technology, business, hospitality and tourism, health sciences, and human services. In all these academies, we took this year to plan, so consider this year 0. It's been hard work from our staff, the high school, Chris Garcia, our principal of the high school, Tom De Agüero, working really hard on setting this up. So next year, we have our first group of students going into the academies. These are the current 8th grade students, and they're going to be 9th grade next year. And they're going to be able to experience the first semester a little bit of the academies and then make their selection to go forward. And you will think, are they going to be stuck to that one? No, they can change. But what we have found is that most of the times, like the vast majority, they do not change. Because it actually allows them to see the broad spectrum of things that they can do within that theme that attracts them. So in 4 years, we're going to have a full high school with all 4 grades being part of academies. And those academies will be supported for the junior high. Remember I mentioned the junior highs, focusing on project-based learning. And those are going to be supported also by the themes of the elementary schools so that we are able and will be able to offer choice all the way from pre-K through 12th grade. That is owning our future. So why choice? Let's take a look.
The music program at Adams 14 is extremely diverse. We have ensemble classes at the secondary level. We have your traditional band, orchestra at the middle schools and the high school. And then our elementary general music programs will have a variety of experiences for kids.
We're an educational organization that doesn't just value test scores. My entire tenure here and for generations, that has been a priority. because this is a community that recognizes that kids are not test scores, and kids do more than just math and reading.
My favorite part about music is playing the instruments.
My favorite part of music class is the drums and Martin Club.
I think music is a core subject, just like math and reading. It's giving the students an opportunity to approximate and dive right in with some music that they already know, which is what's giving them that engagement and getting them fired up about it.
I want people to know that they can send their kids here, they can come here, and they can get a well-rounded education that develops their whole mind and their whole being. It's a place where they can learn to express themselves through things like music and art.
And Jason Malmberg here present, also president of CTA, working with CEA as well and UNISERV. And what I hear from them, this is for the first time in years, probably decades, I think one of them said at some point, that the leadership of the district and labor is working hand in hand to ensure that our students are served. So that speaks a lot about the commitment and the collaboration that we have, so thank you. But why choice? Because we just saw it. Our students bring so many great things to the classroom. Wait, some people call that baggage. We call it assets. They bring experiences. They bring skills, talents, wishes, desires, expectations. And we want to capitalize on those to be able to offer choices. We want to capitalize on those to understand, really understand their identity. Because no longer someone else will tell our story but us. So as we plan to make the best of our buildings, recognizing the identities, the desires of our community, of our students, we're moving forward. We will be engaging the community. We will be engaging businesses to redesign sixth grade, to find themes for each one of the elementary schools, to ensure that our students have opportunities to become dual or maybe trilinguals. Why not? You know, United States is one of the states that still, the nations that believes that a second language is a deficit, where other countries are actually supporting 4 or 5 languages at home and in their schools. This is our system. We own it. I can sit here and say it's the state's fault. I am part of the system. You are part of the system. In adding pre-K, I started my career as a pre-K teacher. I always say that when I retire, I'm going to go and be a pre-K teacher assistant because it's too much work to be a teacher. Too much work. Thank you, teachers, whomever you're here. And make sure that you thank the next teacher you see. Buy them a coffee if you see them at the Starbucks or somewhere. Because they work so hard, so hard. And I see some teachers nodding, yes. But why pre-K in every elementary classroom? You need to make sure that they're ready. Let's watch.
Parents can be confident that when they bring their children to Adams 14 preschool that they will find a staff that really cares and loves their children.
Straw baby!
Oh, good job. Here we go. Ready?
My favorite part is seeing the students grow from August when they don't want to be here to the end of the school year when they're ready to go to kindergarten, using so many vocabulary words that you have learned.
We look at not just academics and reading and math, but we want them to develop their social skills and learning how to, again, express themselves appropriately and giving them opportunities to socialize with each other. One of the things that makes it unique for Adams 14 is that we also offer dual language programming in the preschool classrooms.
Each school offers one classroom dedicated to dual language learners. But in our other classrooms also, we have a paraprofessional that speaks the language or a teacher that speaks Spanish to the students.
The staff that's here, they're going to love their children and teach them a love of learning as well.
So to be an innovator, as I said before, we do not have it all together. I do not have it all together, I can tell you that. So we have demanded to be able to choose our partners. And this time we chose our partners. We chose TNTP, we chose Cognia. TNTP, thank you for being here, Cognia. Connect Ed. And guess what? It is working. We chose it, we own it, it is working. So aspects of our identity, of our community, it also demands, or we have learned that some of those aspects demand for us to offer wraparound services for students. And the board is very clear in telling me it needs to be accessible to all children. So we have started a program, Community Schools Model, following the Community Schools Model at Central Elementary School. Central Elementary School was chosen because it was the one elementary, but stay tuned because I'm going to show you some data that may tell otherwise. But it has been identified as the lowest school of the district, therefore has aggressive state sanctions, but we're working on changing that narrative as well. And lastly, student achievement, which is, I left it last because even when I was looking again at the data, it wows me. How much really identity predicts outcomes based on certain systems that we adults create and own. The charge, our students deserve a high quality service. That's why the board chose or charged me to redesign how we serve our students. You've heard about that a little bit. And they said, well, you better hurry up. If you know anything about Adams 14, you know we are in the intensive care unit with the state. We make it or break it now, right? So we have no time to waste. Just like the doctors at the intensive care unit, you don't see anybody chilling there. Everybody's in a mission, running and grabbing something. So we have visited 500 classrooms every 2 months with our partners. We monitor what we say we're going to do. We monitor ourselves. And we want to see every week progress or lack of progress in whatever we say it is important. We narrowed our focus for our teachers in our schools. And we have found, actually 1 month was even getting closer to 90% of the times we visited classrooms, the tasks in front of the students are not only aligned to the curriculum, but are on grade level. We can do better, and we are focusing and organizing and monitoring ourselves to ensure that every child has a high quality opportunity, academic opportunity. So we are supporting our teachers. We help them try things, understand what is really on task. Why is it so important? Why is it important to have a curriculum? Why is it important to follow a curriculum? We have been working with administrators, teachers on understanding lessons. If I am going to be teaching this, what is an exemplar answer of a student? What does it look like, sound like? Because if we do not know as adults, how are we going to recognize it when the child is or not doing it? And providing feedback, not only useful feedback from teacher to the student at the in the moment, but also administrators to teachers. Because we are in this together, and we're getting better together. Not for everyone, I get it. But the ones who are here are committed to ensuring that we get better. So let me show you some data here of our schools, because everything that we have put together is showing growth in only 4 months. BOY stands for beginning of the year, that was August. MOY, middle of the year, that's December. 4 months, because it's not even 6 months. And as you can see here, there are 2 lines. Red one is English, our data for English language for the entire district. We have 25% of the students being proficient, or we had them at the beginning of the year. In only 4 months, we increased it to 37% in only 4 months. Are we where we need to be? Are we there yet? Absolutely not. Am I proud of this? Quite frank, I can't. I cannot be proud, because our goal is 100%. We were marked like really 100%. How can I go and tell a parent, by the way, you're not of the percent who is going to be proficient? How can I, as a professional, can tell that to any parent? So our goal is, yes, 100%. And we're not going to stop. But see the Spanish one. So English from 25 to 28, Spanish, it's higher. Mind you, the state average is 40s, 45, less than 50. And in math, across all grade levels, English, 17% to 33%, almost double. Almost doubled. In 4 months, we saw growth in every grade from kindergarten through 12th grade in math. Did I say 4 months? We almost doubled it. But take a look at Spanish. From 30 to 45%. I'll show you one more graph that is very telling to me. And if there's anything that you're going to remember from today, this is what I want you to remember. So this is, remember I told you about Central Elementary, the one low-performing school under severe state actions. So these are the students who tested in English in 1st grade. Color-coded, the green is meets or exceeds expectations. The dotted line in there is the threshold, the passing for the state. This is our 1st grade students in 4 months. Compare them, this is the December assessment. And this is what we reported to CDE. 29% meets or exceeds in 2nd grade. And 45% meets or exceeds 2nd grade English. The same students were tested in Spanish. Look at the difference. Are we kind of overlooking the identities of our students? Because our Spanish tests do not count for the accountability system. So how can an English test say, you are not enough? How can we be okay with having an English score say, your teachers are not good enough? Your district is not good enough. We adults have made a lot of mistakes. But this leadership, maybe we didn't create them, but we own them. As a superintendent, I own them. And it is my commitment, hold me accountable. Because despite what others might say, we appreciate accountability. It's just the right thing to do for our students. So maybe the system is overlooking the identities not only of the students of Adams 14, thousands of students with similar experiences, similar background, similar economics, similar weight, baggage, or assets. The reality is that the identity has hurt our district because we're overlooking at them. It has predicted their outcomes. In our accountability system, don't be fooled. There are always losers and winners because that is how it was set up to be. In the accountability system, we are the accountability system. We own it. It's not a few people in the state. We own it. Period. So we, looking at the data, go back one. Look at second grade Spanish. 90%, I said 90%, 88% of the students be meeting or exceeding. With a different accountability, considering Spanish tests, we might be a school of distinction right there. We might. Linguistically gifted, poverty, minority. Our students have been negatively impacted by this system because I take ownership. We have allowed this system to say those identities don't really fit the established institutional identity of a Coloradian student. And that is on us, and that is horrible. But you know what is even worse? We as adults allowing it to happen over and over again. So we're doing something about it. So those were just my thoughts. We might be a school of distinction. I wonder what your thoughts are. There's a card on your table. I had one that, of course, I don't know where it is, but there's a blank card on your table. Yes? Looks like it's just as Adams 14 is a blank card. So pull up a pen. What resonates with you? What is your call of action? You've heard the plan. You've seen the data. You've heard my thoughts for sure. What are your thoughts? What resonates with you? Let's take 90 seconds and write it down. And you're not going to be asked to be sharing your thoughts with anyone. Those are yours to keep and to write. And when you're finished, you just put the card back in the center, facing down. Nobody will know. But I need you to reflect on this. What resonates with you? Let's take 90 seconds. Go. And when we warn people how much time they have left to finish their task, we take every opportunity to model. And as you put your cards facing down at the center of the table, we're going to listen to some of our gifted students. These are students from Monaco who excel at music, something that I actually really appreciate. So let's go ahead and hear from them.
Cross buns, hot cross buns, wanna cross buns are a thing of beauty. You can eat them plain or extra fruity. Back in the day, they cost a penny. Now for that, you can't get any. Hot cross buns are what we live for. Make them, eat them, then we make more. I can eat them all night and day. Hot cross buns, hip hip hooray! Hot cross buns are a thing of beauty. You can eat them plain or extra fruity. Back in the day, they cost a penny. Now for that, you can't get any. Hot cross buns are what we live for. Make them, eat them, then we make more. I can eat them all night and day. Hot cross buns, hip hip hooray!
A friendly reminder, thank you students. Let's give it one more for them. A friendly reminder that our students are much more than one English test or academics. We're committed to teaching the whole child and listen to our community, understanding our identities. So we're about to end, and this is what we know. What I know right now, I'm going to own it. Financial well-being, engaged community, which includes each of you, by the way, academic innovation, and a focus on student achievement will equip us, the adults, to climb and get to that peak. Understanding our students' identities will help us get there with excellence. So I want today to end today with a little bit of what we heard in the morning, highlighting once again the role of our identities. And I would like for you, as you see it on the screen, to reflect and see beyond a score. This is not a score. You see their faces. You see their faces. And the cruel reality for us adults, the cruel reality to recognize and accept that people are treated differently, that some people experience life differently based on aspects of their identities. The work we're doing in Adams 14, in education, my colleagues, the work we're doing is difficult. It's challenging. And it will be uncomfortable. Because if it is not uncomfortable, we're not doing something right. Because we need to break it. So just like the climber ascending to the 14er, the view from the top is worth the time and effort. And for some of you, it may be just another 14er. But for our students, getting to the top with excellence is a true view of their future. So I invite you to help us. Help us tell the different story you heard today. Help us echo our new narrative. Because just that alone is helping them reach that summit. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you.